Figurative Language, Poetry Lesson 2. The first element of figurative language we are going to talk about are similes. And similes are used to compare two things that are different in most ways, but are the same in one important way. Similes use the words like or as to compare the two things. And authors use similes to make their writing more interesting and descriptive. So our examples are Lucy sings like a bird, and the key here that this is a simile is the use of like, and the author is comparing the way Lucy sings to how a bird sings. And then Sam's raincoat was as yellow as a lemon. And the author is using the word as here, so we know it is a simile, and the author is comparing the color of Sam's raincoat, which is yellow, to the color of a lemon. Alright, the second element of figurative language we are going to talk about are metaphors. And metaphors are also used to compare two things that are different but are the same in one important way. However, a metaphor does not use the words like or as, but a metaphor states that one thing is something else. So it's still comparing two things, but it's not using like or as. So the examples are Jake is a wizard with computers. Obviously, Jake isn't really a wizard because wizards aren't real, or are they? Anyways, so the author's comparing how good Jake is with computers to that of a wizard. And the second one, Lucy's room is a pigsty. Well, unless Lucy is a pig, her room is probably not a pigsty, but the author is comparing it to a pigsty so you understand how dirty her room really is. Alright, now let's talk about idioms. And an idiom is a well-known phrase that means something different than what the words seem to mean. So it's going to take a phrase, but the meaning is not what the phrase actually says. So the meaning doesn't match the words. So our first example is, don't rock the boat. Well, that actually means don't cause any trouble. Don't get in trouble, just don't cause any trouble. The second one, that was a piece of cake, actually means that was pretty easy. The third one, lend me your ears, means please listen to me, which hopefully you're doing. And the last one, I'm on the fence, means I can't decide. I can't make a decision. I don't know. I can't decide. Alright, now it's time to talk about hyperboles, and that's a fun word to say, hyperboles. It is pronounced hyperbole, hyperbole. So now that we've gone over the pronunciation, we can go over what it actually means. And a hyperbole is when a statement is exaggerated to make a point. So our examples, I called you a million times. I highly doubt that person called you a million times. See, it's exaggerated. The second one, that pizza's bigger than Texas. First of all, if a pizza is bigger than Texas, that's impressive, but it's probably not. So that's definitely an exaggeration. The third one, I will die of embarrassment. No, you will not. I don't think anyone's actually died of embarrassment. And the last one, he is older than the hills. Well, unless he's like Jesse Tuck from Tuck Everlasting, he's probably not older than any hills. And now on to a fun one, personification. So personification is just giving human qualities like actions, feelings, and thoughts to non-human objects. So example, the leaves danced in the wind. Obviously leaves can't really dance, but they're dancing. So that's personification. Leaves can't actually dance, so we're giving a human quality to a non-human object. And then the last one, the toys dreaded playtime at the daycare. Toys, unless they're in Toy Story, don't actually have feelings, so they can't dread playtime. So that is personification. So if you are giving a human quality to a non-human object, so that'd be like inanimate objects or animals, things like that, then that is personification. Here's another fun one to say. Onomatopoeia. Yes, it's a really long word. But an onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like its meaning. So it's a really long word for something so tiny. Anyways, onomatopoeia, word that sounds like its meaning. Examples: creak, splat, buzz, splash. I could keep going, but I think you get the point. And up next is alliteration. And alliteration is when the beginning sound of a word is repeated two or more times in a phrase or sentence. So Tommy took 2 tomatoes. It's all the words start with that t sound. Please pass the plate. P, p. That's the sound it starts with. And the last one, beautiful blue butterflies, start with that B sound. So alliteration, just all the words or some of the words in a sentence, as long as it's two or more, have the same sound, then it is alliteration. And our last one is imagery. And imagery is just the name that is given to the element of figurative language that helps spark your senses as you're reading. It's what helps create that picture in your mind, helps paint the picture that the author wants you to see and visualize. And imagery is going to use your 5 senses. So it's going to use taste, touch, smell, hear, feel. It may use one of those, it may use multiple, it may use all of them. So an example is, I feel the ladder saw as the boughs bend. That paints a picture of you feeling it, you can see it. And then until the think warm days will never cease. Also, great, great imagery.